In the past, the enterprise IT security was focused on protecting the physical locations of assets and users and resources by building defenses around the network perimeters of an organization. So it was done by developing static security policies at the choke points, for example, at firewalls, to get the largest effect for your security efforts. Local devices, users, and workloads were considered more trusted versus the remote devices, users, and workloads. However, due to introduction of cloud computing, mobile devices, and remote workers using non-enterprise networks, this perimeter-based defense approach is no more valid, and moreover, advanced persistent threats are already sitting inside your network due to large trust zones which are created because of these network perimeter based defenses. And these attackers are now moving inside your network in a lateral manner on different servers. So the zero trust architecture initiatives were started in 2004 at Jericho Forum, where the concept of deperimeterization was introduced to move away from network based defense, which created large network segments. And in 2007, the black cloud concept was introduced by Department of Defense agency, that is Defense Information System Agency, which moved the network perimeter based defenses towards individual transaction based defenses. And in 2010, an analyst at Forrester, that is John Kindervog, introduced the concept of zero trust architecture in a white paper. Later on, he improved upon his concept and introduced the concept of zero trust extended, or ZTX. The focus of ZTX was on data or value. In 2014, the Cloud Security Alliance introduced the concept of software defined perimeters, which was an evolution of black cloud by Defense Information System Agency. And same year, Google implemented its zero trust architecture by introducing Beyond Core, and they published various articles. In 2017, Gartner improvised their continuous adaptive risk and threat assessment model towards zero trust architecture. And they introduced the identity based access and risk profiling. In 2020, National Institute of Science and Technology published a special publication 800-207, which introduced the concept of zero trust architecture. And time to time, the US federal institutions have developed different policies and implemented different programs which introduced the concept of zero trust architecture. For example, Federal Information Security Modernization Act, or FISMA, and then there is Risk Management Framework, RMF, and then there is Federal Identity, Credentials and Access Management, and Trusted Internet Connections, and Continuous Diagnostic and Mitigation. So zero trust architecture is a security strategy based upon the principles related to resilient system design and operations. And there is zero inherent or implicit trust based upon the location or ownership of an asset, and security is applied consistently on subjects, assets, and resources. So if a subject or a user is a local user or a remote user, the security will be applied as per the organization policies, and if there is a change in the location of a user, then the security will be applied again. And if the assets is company owned or it is a BYOD and it is a heterogeneous device, the security will be applied as per the organization policies. And if the resource, that is the data or computing resource, application or services, is hosted on premises or on the cloud, the security will be applied as per the organization policies. So the resource location or subject location or asset location and their ownership will not lessen the security. Rather, the security will be applied in a standardized manner. And attacker will be considered that he is already sitting inside your network and he is moving or trying to move laterally. So there will be explicit trust at granular and dynamic manner with secure communication. So this trust will be dynamic and this will be also granular. So granular means that we will apply the concept of need to access, and also this access will be identity and attribute based, for example time, location and patch level of our device. Authentication and authorization will be separate discrete functions by implementing different controls, for example multi-factor authentication and single packet authorization or mutual TLS. Moreover, microsegmentation will be implemented to shrink the implicit trust zones, and each service access will be treated dedicatedly. For example, SSH and RDP both will be considered discrete access to a same resource. Moreover, the trust will be dynamic and in a variable manner, and it will be automated by continuously monitoring the session traffic for validating the security posture and for building the risk profile of an access, and it can be enforced by using the user and entity behavior analytics or continuous diagnostic and mitigation systems, and these continuous diagnostic and mitigation system will monitor the devices which are trying to connect to an enterprise and will patch these devices if the patch level is not as per the organization policies. Moreover, since the attacker is considered to be sitting inside your network, therefore the traffic will be secure by using the encryption and regardless of the network locations of the assets, resources and the traffic. Now there are two main components of zero trust architecture. The first one is the policy decision point, which is the central component to evaluate and decide the access request. So access request will be evaluated by policy decision point, and the second component is policy enforcement points, which are spread all across the networks. So the decisions of policy decision points will be enforced by policy enforcement points. So these policy enforcement points should be as close to the resource to shrink the implicit trust zone, and these can be implemented by using next generation firewalls, IPS and IDSs, and network access controls. Now, organizations have implemented some part of zero trust architecture already, and they are operating in a hybrid mode. So if you want to implement zero trust architecture for your organization, then you have to adopt an incremental approach by developing zero trust architecture for your critical assets on use case basis. So you have to see the infrastructure, the skill sets, resources, budgets, timelines, and priority of your organization to implement the zero trust architecture incrementally. So this is a continuous effort. It is not one and a done thing. Thank you.